Comrade Show. Wait, Comrade Lante Oriaki. This is the Comrade Show.
Yes, my people. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the globe. This is your darling program, The Comrade and Friends, a segment of The Comrade Show. Today, the 16th of October 2022, we are here again to serve you, to discuss, and to inform. And at some point in the course of the program, we'll be opening our lines so that our viewers can say a thing or two. I want to apologize for last Sunday due to technical issues. We were unable to bring your darling program on board. But today we are here, Ilanati, and we're again going to talk about Nigeria, how, where, and what we need to do to make 2023 a reality. My dear friends and viewers, today's program is packed full. There is a lot to talk about. And we have tagged today's program, "Has Governor Wike been right all along?" Still on the road to 2023. But I'm not alone to discuss this. We have the CNC in the house. Dr. Tony Agbons, obedient Dr. Tony Agbons, is unavoidably absent today, but will be with us in spirit. I'm your friend, your brother, your comrade, and your obedient, no other, but obedient pharmacist Augustine Iremira. I say stay tuned, don't touch that die. Remember our deal, you must share, and share, so that so many people would listen to it, get informed, and make the right decision. Without wasting time, I present to you Comrade Obedient Comrade Lante Bonsaraki, our CNC, to say hello to our wonderful viewers.
Yes, fellow Nigerians, greetings to you all and welcome to the Comrade Show. You know the drill. Please share, and share the broadcasts. Yes, it promises to be tight. We are happy to deepen democracy in Nigeria. Hopefully, in 2023, we'll get it right and Nigeria will start traveling on the proper trajectory. God bless you for joining us. Thank you very much, Austin Iremiran. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, obedient Comrade Lante Bonsaraki. You are looking ever so good. Always a pleasure to be with you. Our viewers, our friends, today we shall be looking at the three major parties: PDP, APC, and of course, Labour Party. We shall also be throwing our light to INEC and PVC collection because we know that is very important to 2023. The election will come February 2023. And by the grace of God, May 29, 2023, a new president, and we believe, we hope, we know, will be our own former Governor Peter Obi, and the vice president will be Yusuf Dati. But the build-up to this has been enormous. Every day, there's one thing or the other to talk about in Nigeria. And today's program, we've tagged it as Governor Wike of Rivers State been right all along the issues that have been happening in Nigeria. I think during the week, Governor Wike had a media chat again for the second time running to inform Nigerians and indeed members of PDP of what is happening inside PDP and what Comrade Lante would always say the wisdom of the cocoa of the matter. And it was clear from that media chat that Governor Wike is not backing down. In fact, more revelations have been made. But I want you to listen to what is happening now. And like we said, could Governor Wike be right all along? I want you to take a look and a listen to what the candidate of PDP, Atiku Abubakar, said in an event recently. I don't want to let it cut out of the bag. I want you to listen.
Oh, Professor Ango. 35. And I have traversed the whole of this country. I know the whole of this country. I have built bridges across this country. I think what the average northerner needs is somebody who is from the north and who also understands the other parts of Nigeria and who has been able to build bridges across the rest of the country. This is what the northerner needs. He doesn't need a Yoruba candidate or an Igbo candidate. This is what the northerner needs. So I believe I stand before you as a pan-Nigerian of northern origin. Thank you very much.
Yeah, listening to that video, Comrade Atiku, it shows to some extent that what Governor Nyesom Wike has been saying all along might just be coming to the fore of Nigerians. But what is important is that the issue of NC to be regionalized. But from that statement, it is clear that one of the candidates is taking us there. And to that question, I just want to ask you directly to talk about this. We have said how long? Atiku is saying that what Nigeria needs is somebody from the north that understands the other part of Nigeria. What do you make out of that obedient Comilante Konsaraki?
To be very honest with you, I have been very disappointed. Disappointed and very scared. Scared because we can tell what the status quo is right now with Nigeria. And I must be scared, and every Nigerian should be scared, that the last 7 years, going to 8 years now, it's not a story that we want to repeat in this country. Disappointed because every time these candidates have the opportunity to, of course, let Nigerians know who they are, they don't even pretend about it. So what we have seen with Atiku Abubakar is further making the case on behalf of the likes of Wike, who have made the argument very clear that Atiku Abubakar is divisive, is not a unifier, is an ethnic bigot, and is a religious bigot. Now, let's not forget, a few months ago, one Rebecca, or Deborah, as it were, was stoned to death by some people in the north because they alleged that she blasphemed the name of Prophet Muhammad. And the whole world of good Nigerians condemned that action. And that for what that young lady was accused of is not enough to kill a human being. This is the story of Nigeria. A story of Nigeria that many Nigerians want to walk away from. A story of Nigeria that many Nigerians see as repugnant, as not helping the Nigerian situation, as it were. What happened to Atiku Abubakar's social media handle? First, like every Nigerian, most Nigerians were condemning the action. Atiku Abubakar's social media handle equally condemned the action. And just minutes after, that condemnation was pulled down. In the defense of pulling it down, Atiku further let Nigerians know that he did not authorize the condemnation of that action, which for many of us gave approval from the office of Atiku Abubakar for that girl should be murdered. And across different mosques, we have heard Islamic clerics, some of them, not all of them, preach to say that action was good. And today, Atiku Abubakar has come out and let the world know, and let some segment of the Northerners know that the Nigerian governors, what the Northerners need is a Northern candidate. And it specifically said, not Yorubas, not Hausas. And that further gave some vindication to Wike, whose argument has been that you cannot have in a party that is having a national spread like PDP, have their national chairman come from the north, their presidential candidate come from the north as well. That has been the argument. So by what we have seen with Wike right now, I mean with Atiku Abubakar, and of course his inaction on the issues plaguing the PDP right now, it obviously speaks to the fact that Wike has, as a matter of fact, been right. And it speaks to the fact that it is time that for Nigerians to properly sit down and listen to the argument of Wike. I am honestly disappointed in Atiku Abubakar. As a matter of fact, based on what all these mounting revelations coming out about Atiku Abubakar, I am even now picking up a case against reasonable Nigerians who are my friends, who are speaking out to say they are supporting Atiku Abubakar. We are really challenging them to look at some of these issues. We can line them, issues like this, that make people easily, reach the conclusion that Atiku Abubakar is an ethnic bigot, a divisive personality, and one who will not unite this country. My brother, I'll stop there for now. There will be many more things to talk about. Of course, I agree that Wike has been right all along. This man, Nigerians must run away from him, and of course from PDP this very time.
Thank you so much, Komilante Ikosaraki. Nigerians at every time will be the judge. But I like your conclusion there. And I like the way you brought two analyses. We talked about this on previous episode on TCS, where we condemn in entirety the action that was taken by Atiku then when Deborah was murdered in Sokoto State. How he made a statement that got the entire world happy with him, but because he saw the reaction from the northern part, that was taken away and some form of excuses were given. I have listened to that video myself, and the conclusion you've reached could not be far-fetched from mine. It is clear that these politicians will do anything just to get power. Atiku has been in the corridor of power and wanting to be Nigerian president for a very long time. And it is this elite that continue to send this. But I think the time has come in 2023 where many Nigerians, especially those those in the north, they've also realized that this cannot continue. We lack true leadership. And they always end with that word, I'm a pan-Nigeria. Only God knows what they mean by that. Because in truth, by their actions, they are not. I looked at that video again. It shows clearly that Governor Nyesom Wike is also being vindicated. But Komilante, I must not let you go by not forgetting to ask you these questions. In all this that we continue to push with the North, don't you think the Southerners are also culpable? Because we are always available as veritable tools to be used against ourselves. Speak to that.
I think our democracy needs to evolve. If anybody comes out to run for political office, they would definitely have some people supporting them. But our democracy, this is the argument we are making, that our democracy needs to evolve along the lines of ideology. Okay? And I think that we are getting there. And we are not going to get there by accident. We have to get there deliberately. This is why the presidency of somebody like Peter Obi right now is very much needed, because Peter Obi, as far as I'm concerned, will not just be a president if elected, that will only just come and improve the Nigerian economy. But we expect Peter Obi to be a president that will help redefine our political landscape, so that our own polity will be the kind of polity that is guided, in lines, with ideology. You understand what I'm saying? That if I'm a member of PDP, I am disposed to certain ideologies of the PDP. If I'm a member of Labour, there are certain ideologies of Labour that will inform my decision to be a member of Labour, as it were. Just as it is with other climes where nations are well advanced. So I think for now, we are just here people, groping in the dark when it comes to politics. And hopefully, as disappointing as things are at the moment, hopefully we would get there. But we really need to make a statement with 2023 by ensuring that these people that have kept Nigeria, under this kind of stagnant political culture, okay, they are all pushed away. And let us usher in some people with some brighter ideas, people who are prepared, people who understand, what governance is and what politics is, people who truly understand that being a president does not give you more right than other Nigerians, who understand that, being elected a president means that you are being hired for a job to carry out an assignment, not what's it called, a personal, what's it called, not a matter of ownership. You understand what I'm saying? Now, personalized the way we have always had it, to the extent that recently I argued that the president in Nigeria is more powerful than all other Nigerians put together. It cannot be so. It cannot be so. We must practice it the way it ought to be. Anybody we vote for who becomes president must see himself as somebody being employed by Nigerians to provide leadership, to carry out the most primary, essential of all of the things, protection of lives and property, first and foremost, before any other thing. And if they don't come to that realization, then there's a problem. And I can tell you, my brother, that the only person who understands that he's running to be employed by Nigerians is Peter Obi. Atiku Abubakar sees it as his own personal right. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu calls it his own turn. It is his own right. As a matter of fact, he even openly says that every other person who is aspiring should shut up because it is his own turn. Such kind of ideological dispositions, they are mundane, they are not right, they are retrogressive, and they must not be accepted in this era, not in this window of 2023. We must do away with all of these things and start rewriting Nigeria's political history for the better and for the future of Nigerian people.
Yeah, thank you so much, Correlato. I wanted to stop you there because I know that once you enter the Obi redeem, you are obedient all the way. We're going to be talking about Obi at some point, but some people will also argue, still staying on this PDP Wike Atiku issue and the postulation made by Atiku recently when he was saying that the North need a northern person that understand each other. I want to ask you this. I am not a fan of Governor Nyesom Wike, even though I know that Governor Nyesom Wike is tacitly obedient now. But I don't think he was obedient for choice. He was obedient because he was pushed to the wall, because I believe he had his own motive and plans already, which didn't work for him. And the only option left was to play the right card, which he would have played before. Two wrong cannot make a right, but we can tap from the wrong to try to get the right. I think the posture that Governor Nyesom Wike is standing now, as far PDP doing it for the chairman Ayosha resigning, I think is right. But it wasn't genuinely from his mind. It was situation that pushed him to that place. But it's all working for the favor of Peter Obi. That's why some people have argued that there's destiny going around and following Governor Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati, and that Nigerians should catch on this opportunity now. But as we wrap up on this very important issue, I see something different. Why should one man really hold on to a party in the jugular? I'm talking of Wike now. And why should another man, a person of Atiku as well, hold on to the party in another jugular and pulling the party apart? It shows something that there is problem with leadership and internal democracy. So my question to you now will be, do you see any internal democracy in PDP? Obviously, the party and the leadership want to unify Nigeria, but they've not unified themselves, which obviously shows that the issue of a unifier is a no-go and a non-starter. Speak to the issue of internal democracy, especially as it relates to PDP. Remember, when this all started, it was clear and obvious that PDP was going to be going to the south to get their presidential candidate, or going to the south. It was supposed to be. And there was this issue they brought about, okay, because some people have bought form, it wasn't announced, let us make it open. And the likes of Wike, who remain very powerful I thought from their own strategy that they were going to at least get the ticket. Hence, they kept their mouth mute. So you see, at every point in time, because there's no leadership and internal democracy, people's personal view, people's personal aspiration, always in some way have their way over this. I want you to look at internal democracy in PDP, just opposing it with the unification issue talked about by Atiku and Wike current stand. Because from Wike's media chat this week, last week, it was clear and written that is not backing out and the fight must go on. He said he will not stop until IU leaves as chairman of PDP. So I want you to look at all of them in quick succession.
Well, first and foremost, I think that most Nigerians and followers of the comrade should understand that I am not a fan of Wike, honestly. I speak to the truth when it comes to Wike, but on this issue, honestly, we must give Wike some accolade. But another aspect of it is that Wike, I see Wike honestly, based on what is playing out, I see Wike really as a front man. Other people are queuing behind him, to make their collective voices known, on this particular issue. Wike has a lot of support. The other day, PDP members of Cross River paid Wike a courtesy visit and honored him, as a matter of fact, because of this. I think we must cut Wike some slack. The reason is very clear. If you have somebody like Wike, who, though he's a politician, he speaks for his own personal interest, but if that interest become an interest, that's, would bring about some level of fairness, some level of balance, and that will favor everybody, I think it will become essential for Wike to be heard, to be listened to, and to be supported. You understand? So on the issue of internal democracy, it's not existent. It's non-existent. It has never been existent in the Nigerian political landscape. As a matter of fact, we are just so blessed in this time around that we have the dynamics of Peter Obi, coming into, this arrangement. Otherwise, we will actually be plagued with having to make a choice between Atiku Abubakar and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which would have been a very dangerous thing to the Nigerian people. So for now, like I said earlier, there is no internal democracy. For instance, the level of injustice that's existing and the level of in PDP is exactly what we have out there. So while the parties are a microcosm of the Nigerian general political landscape, okay, we should be glad that what is happening right now is happening, and that people like Wike are positioned right now where they are positioned so that they can actually speak against this injustice. I believe very strongly that Wike is not speaking because of my personal interest or because of any Nigerian's interest. He's speaking primarily because of his own personal interest. Because at the end of the day, by the time they agree that a certain, candidate or a certain person should emerge as the PDP, National Working Committee chairman, as it were, definitely Wike is going to have some interest in that arrangement. And again, let's not forget that just in the last few days, some people loyal to Wike, they started returning several millions of naira a couple of weeks ago. Now what those millions of naira were paid into the account for, they did not explain, and yet the PDP has not come out to explain. This is why people have been paid tens and hundreds of millions of naira from the PDP coffers by this same national chairman, from the north. To some of these people, apparently, what is obvious is that they were paid to bribe them to ensure that the national working committee gets some pass from some of these national working committee members who are fortunately or unfortunately loyal to Wike today. So at the end of the day, my brother, we cannot discuss internal democracy under the PDP or under any political party in Nigeria at this moment. You have a call. A call. I don't know if you want to take it.
Yeah, let's take the call. No problem.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, you are right on the comrade show, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Anthony Ajibola Omoruye. I'm calling from Germany.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you guys for your effort. And I want to make some point regarding this issue of PDP, Wike, Atiku. and also to put out a question. I think for me, from my observation, the first thing is that what is happening now, I think it's a good thing that Atiku is making the mistakes he's making. I think it's something very natural, because if you are not doing something in a fair and just way, you're bound to make mistakes here and there.
Yeah.
Atiku, as a grounded politician, making this kind of mistake is just a confirmation that what they are involved is not just.
Yeah.
That is the point of observation. Coming to the point of the wiki, my question is, if PDP agreed today to say, okay, are you will leave, or are you decide to resign, and they bring the people, somebody from SAT, probably a wiki bank, will that still satisfy the Southerners? Will this make it just because it will still be an Atiku as a Northerner, as a Fulani, that will still want to succeed a Buhari, a Northerner, and a Fulani? So, for me, I think the issue of Wike is good we talk about it, but I think we are falling into the same game of the politician by kind of vindicating Wike. I still hope to feel that we don't need to vindicate him in any way, because you being a part and parcel of the primary problem doesn't give you now the you can fight. Let them fight. For me, they can fight and kill themselves politically. It's good for Nigeria. But we, the ordinary Nigerians, shouldn't fall into their game, because that is what the politicians do every time. When they have problems, they call on the people and say, look, we are fighting for you, we want justice. Because nothing will still justify it, because even if you resign, it's still going to be an Atiku, which is still going to be a Northerner and a Fulani man wanting to succeed another Northerner. So the point of Wike is something should be talked about, but not in the form of vindicating him, giving him that college of he's fighting for South. No, he's not fighting for any Southerner interest. He's fighting, he and his guys, because they were out there when those whole things started. They had the possibility of fighting this issue at that primary stage. I think Austin alluded to this point already. So, just to conclude, we should address this issue, but not in a way that we will not fall into their game. And this is the problem. We want something to change, and we ourselves, we should be ready to change the dynamic, understand what the politicians do. They are mind game player, and we shouldn't make ourselves the people using their game. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much, my good brother Anthony Ajibola Omori, all the way from Germany. I think what you said is so apt, and your second question is so difficult to answer, but you were also kind enough to answer it yourself. And I think what we are doing in Comrade Show is to bring this issue to the fore, so that we continue to remind the people we don't want to fall into their hands. We only want to say that we commend Wike's action, but we know that most of his actions are personal. But just that the personal action at the moment is playing to support the change that Nigeria really seek, and that is evident in the mindset.
I will have to it really. We've already established that we are not fans of people of Wike, for instance. You know, and again, the internal issues, there is no way we are not going to cut Wike some slack. There's no way we are not going to, recognize what Wike is doing, because Wike is a national discourse right now, particularly with what is happening in PDP. You understand what I'm saying now? Again, whatever Wike is doing right now, whether for today or for tomorrow, is going to help equally deepen this democracy. You talked about internal party democracy earlier. Okay, now we have issues with PDP. Apparently, what you expect is that as the day go by, year in, year out, these issues, even when they get resolved, in whichever way they are resolved, they get to play back again in the future. Whether in PDP or any other political parties, people can make reference to them and take caution. Let us not forget that Nigeria is a highly polarized nation. Nigeria is a country that is made up of over 250 nations. This country must recognize that we are not yet a nation. We are not yet yoking together very well. For us to be a nation, we must have that national discourse. The leaders must understand and have that recognition that everybody matters. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody matters. And to the extent that everybody matters, everybody's peculiarity, as it were, must be considered and admitted into the entire landscape of the Nigerian of Nigerian life. Must be considered and given that a place. You understand what I'm saying now, of recognition, as it were. Because if that is not done, that becomes a problem. That is what's happening to APC right now. Okay, Nigeria is a country that is multi-religious, majorly along the lines of Islam and Christianity. Historically, somehow people try to have this balance. It's unwritten, okay, but the nation understands that this balance must be created. You have a candidate who's from the north. Ideally, this candidate should pick another candidate who is from the south. If you are a candidate who's a Muslim, ideally the next in command should be a candidate who's a Christian. With all of this, you create some level of balance, as it were. Everybody gets carried along because people majorly fall in between some of these arrangements and all of that. But when you become blind to them, it becomes an issue. And so therefore, if the lives of wicked don't make the PDP internal issue an issue, then there's a bigger problem of political immorality already in the entire political landscape of Nigeria. That's already what we have in APC. It's what we're having internally with the PDP. You can have a national chairman from the north. You have a candidate from the north, from PDP. You have so many other key positions from the north. That definitely will push some people away. It has done so under PDP. It is currently doing so even under APC, with having Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who's a Muslim, going to go and pick another Muslim. And yet, in the midst of all of this, you have some Islamic clerics who openly preach to their members to say it doesn't matter how rotten the leader is, it doesn't matter how bad Nigeria is, they must ensure that a Muslim person must become president in Nigeria. That is a dangerous trend. That is an unacceptable trend. And that is a trend that cannot be sustained, because at the end of the day, if we do not manage this 2023 presidential elections very well, believe you me, my bro, it may be difficult to say, but I foresee a situation where Nigeria may just be heading for the rocks if we don't manage it properly. Because all of these interests, they want to be protected, they want to be defended, they want to be considered, and they want to be part of the scheme of things. And they must all be considered, because there is space to consider all of them. Now, people say, no matter how small a stool is, we call it a joko, no matter how small it is, if minds are together, 10 people can sit on it. That's what we need to do with Nigeria. This is where Obi becomes relevant.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte Bonsaraki. I always like your deposition, especially on national issues and on many fronts. You've said clearly that if 2023 election is not managed properly, we might just be heading indeed for the rock. I think your summation could not be more succinct. It is very clear. Internal democracy is really lacking in virtually, if not all, the parties that we have in Nigeria, and that is devoid of also clear leadership. Viewers of the Comrade Show, friends of the Comrade Show, is being your darling program, the Comrade and Friends. And we've been trying to estray PDP, Wike and Atiku, and looking at the recent outburst by Atiku Abubakar declaring that the North and somebody from the North and a Northerner is indeed better for Nigeria. All they need is just somebody that understands Nigeria. And we've condemned that statement in its entirety. Nigeria is for all of us. There is no leader that should come and claim regionality because they want to win the election. We are doing this just to conscientize our mind and to say that let our minds be open for what happened in February 2023. As I go on to the next topic, I want to say that Comrade Bonsaraki, a friend of mine, has accused Peter Obi for being responsible for everything that is happening in Nigeria at the moment. That friend made me understand that if Peter Obi has not come out to be a tsunami, the APC candidate will not have picked a Muslim ticket, because no force on earth can stop an idea of Peter Obi that has come to stay. So everything that is happening now is because of Peter Obi and waging war on how to disseminate him. But I must say, Obi has come. Not just come, he's come to stay, and stay Obi must, and Obi Dati Yusuf to the next level. Friends of the Comrade Show, Dr. Comrade Lante Bonsara, can you display our number, because somebody's asking for our number to call. While we are looking at all this, APC is not also left out of their own problem. They've got big issues. Apart from the religious issue of the Muslim ticket, the APC themselves have been unable to start their campaign very well. One of the spokesmen of APC, Festus Keyamo, would always say that the APC is a big lorry. They are taking time to charge their engine, and when they start, they will be moving in full throttle. But that is yet to be seen. Their presidential campaign council was named, but there's still big issue, and they are still trying to fine-tune that. While that is on one side, the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu appear to be missing everywhere. And like we said, 2023 election should be based on issues. And if these people are not available to be interrogated, how do we talk about issues? A point in case is what happened last week at the accountant conference in Nigeria. All presidential candidates and their parties were invited to make appearance and to give a statement and address that noble group. Alas, the presidential candidate of APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was unavoidably absent. His deputy, the vice presidential candidate, Shetima, was also not present, and nobody came to speak on behalf of APC at that ICANN conference. And like one of the candidates said, I'm talking of Omoyele Sowore, he was surprised that the accounting group was having a conference and the supposed APC flag bearer is an accountant but was not there. I could hear voices from background saying that he's not an accountant. We leave that issue for another day. But Comrade Lamte Ipaosa-Oraki, you big them Comrade Lamte Ipaosa-Oraki. Are you worried that the APC presidential candidate is not attending such big programs where he should come to tell Nigerians his vision? What does that portend if 2023 is going to be based on issue? Or is it a sign that he has already lost, so there's no point to fight a battle that is already lost? What's your take?
I think that if there's one thing that Nigerians must understand, it is that the elites, they are very comfortable taking Nigerians for a ride. They have enjoyed it. They've always sailed away with it. Otherwise, if that wasn't so, Buhari should not have won the last election. Buhari definitely was not talking to Nigerians. Even when we had a national debate and Buhari was interviewed, it was obvious before Nigerians that this man was looking senile, was looking like somebody with dementia. He was a total embarrassment, and yet he still won because they always believe that they can take Nigerians for a ride. It's just like an Islamic cleric, going now. We saw one recently, not too long ago, who was telling Christians in the north not to vote for these, and playing, all of those religious, cards and tribal cards and all of that. And I think that's what's happening right now. The level of incompetence and lack of capacity of Tinubu is no longer a big secret. But they believe very strongly that with the resources they have, the monies they have, the ability to buy people over and every other thing will win them the day at the end of the day and win. So, and for many people too who are equally supporting them, it doesn't matter whether Tinubu is a log of wood. It doesn't matter whether Tinubu is dead. What is important is that they want to get in there to cross to go over the line, and they believe very strongly that they can use everything to get that done. So the same issue, similar issues that played out with somebody like Buhari is already playing out with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that we are not seeing him is not a mistake. He cannot attend. Even if he does, he cannot sustain the demands of the conference. This man, already we can see that he talks off point. He is no longer, he's not really present. Even when he's speaking, you see that this man is not present. He talks differently from the subject matter. And that's a clear sign that this man, age has caught up with him. And that capacity is not there for him any longer. And all of that. So shamelessly, as they've always done, they believe in that. So I think that what Nigerians need to do is to discard the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and of course ensure that Nigeria is governed by somebody who at least is competent. somebody who can take responsibility, not somebody who, because he's old, okay, he easily, like the old tradition of the African people, will just say every other person should shut up because he believes he's older than Nigeria and older than all the other candidates who are contesting, so they should all shut up because it is his turn. So that is the mentality, and that has been the mentality all along. And that's why I said that our polity is evolving. If Nigerians can make that statement now, ensure that ensure that Peter Obi become president of Nigeria, that will do it forever in Nigeria. It means that for any party to produce a candidate, okay, they must ensure the competence of that candidate, they must ensure the preparedness of that candidate, they must ensure that that candidate is compliant with the time that we are in right now. So far, the establishment have gotten away with it, and they are looking to get away with it again with people like IPC, bigger people like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whom they know, with all due respect, that this man has no capacity to govern Nigeria. This man, as a matter of fact, is not competent. This man is not prepared. This man is analog. It's not compliant with the time. What we need to do as young people, as Nigerians who truly love this country, is to tell them no. And that we want to go with competence. We want to go with Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati. That's what we need to do. Because what we see with the process, bro, we are going to see even more as the election begins, as the campaign begins proper, as they start having debates between candidates. We are going to see its absence even more. But they believe they can always get around it and buy Nigerians over. But it's time to say no.
I like the way you put it there. It appears to me, Comrade Lante Bonsaki, that you would have been surprised if Atiku, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually came for that conference, because it's like it's just the normal pattern and trajectory. But you've also said in quick succession that must change. I think one of our viewers is saying that our volume is low. You want to check that on the technical side, Comrade Lante, just to check if our video is low, our volume is low.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. While we are doing that, like I said, I love the way you put that position. So over time, our leaders, or let me use the word of Dr. Tony Agbon, our rulers, they've taken us for granted. So it was alleged, or it was said that Buhari had 15 million votes in the bag. And indeed, those 15 million votes actually materialized for him on those 2 episodes. Maybe that's the reason why it took us for...
No, point of correction. It was 12 million, not even 15 million.
Oh, 12 million.
Yeah.
So probably, maybe that's why they take us for granted. But I would say that there is no vote at the moment in the bag for anybody apart from Peter Obi, which we are going to come to about later. So it is clear that these front runners of these parties don't have anything to say. They want to do it the way it is before. But 2023 will be a watershed moment and a moment for change. As we wrap up on this, because there isn't so much interesting things to talk about APC, we'll be going to look at Labour Party now in the course of this program. But I just want to say something. Remember last time at the last election, Atiku actually showed up for the presidential debate. But when he came into the venue and found out that Buhari was not there, he left. So I think this year, even if they dodge all these other appearances, I think the presidential debate should not be taken for granted. Even if they surprise us with not appearing in all these other places, the presidential debate should not be taken for granted. Governor Peter Obi, our incoming president, is the most interviewed of the world at the moment. Everybody wants to talk to him, and he's not available to say something, to be there. And that speaks to the action of a man that is actually ready. So as we wrap up on this APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu not appearing, what will be your take on the presidential debate? Do you think that it should be business as usual, or you want to encourage those that will be doing it to make sure that every candidate is present and open for debate?
My brother, the reason why elections in all over the world, they are structured. They are structured because there will be time for the electorate to get themselves prepared to go and vote, and there will be time for the people who are contesting, who are vying for positions, to sell themselves to the people. Because I don't know Peter Obi, for instance, from Adam, is not a member of my household. I don't know Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I've never met him. I don't know what's his name, Atiku Abubakar. I have never met him. And indeed, I don't even know the other. I don't even know Yeso Wike. What we know about them, that the most we can discuss about them is how well, and how far we see them on the media. You understand what I'm saying? And so the window open for us to have campaigns, for us to have debates. It's a process through which these candidates tell Nigerians what they can offer, what they offer, because Nigerians are going to vote and employ somebody to become president of Nigeria. And Nigerians must have, some inkling, have some ideas about whom they are employing. What is the capacity of this person they are employing? Is this person fit? Is this person well? Does this person look prepared enough to become president of Nigeria? Is this person with baggage or baggages as it were? What is this person carrying? Why do I want to vote for this person? These are the issues. And the only way you know about this candidate is when you see them come to public spaces and address Nigerians. When you see them come and address issues. I've given a scorecard now for somebody like Atiku Abubakar. Rebecca or Deborah. Deborah was killed by some irate, Northern or Muslim young people. And this man came out to justify the killing of Rebecca. He did not condemn it. He justified it. That, for me, told me that this guy is a religious bigot. Now, we played a video just now where the man is saying that the average Northerner deserves a president. Not a Yoruba, not Igbo, which means that this man is running not for the interest of Nigeria, but for the interest of the North. That is a dangerous trend. It is because he's speaking out and able to evaluate that Atiku Abubakar is a clear and present danger to the future of this country, and Nigerians must reject him in totality. Even those who have made up their mind, looking at the sentiment of PDP as a political party to say they are voting PDP and they are voting Atiku Abubakar, they must now rethink. Because we see them on these public spaces, and of course, we are able to ascertain to a reasonable extent who they are. And I make bold to say that the future of this country does not lie in the determination of a person's character based on his his religious leaning or his ethnic leaning. Now, the content of the character of the average Nigerian must be judged, based on their competence and competencies, as it were. Based on how ready they are, based on how how disposed they are to uniting this nation. And the only person right now who speaks the language of Nigeria is Peter Gregory Obi. If I saw Atiku right now in that video saying to those Northern, select group, saying to them that look, the Northerners need a Nigerian, need a president who is a Nigerian, who will be willing to unify the diversities of this nation, who will be willing to bring about some level of peace, who will be willing to ensure there is security across the length and breadth of Nigeria, who will be willing to ensure that there is growth and stability in this country, who will be willing to ensure that there's energy provided for everybody. My brother, that will resonate with all of us. We will be making this case that we are making right now. But for you to go to any group and say that you are the person this group must want, and he didn't even make it in a way that maybe he's talking to his family members. He said that the average Northerner requires, he didn't end there. He said that they don't need Igbos, they don't need Yorubas. There is nothing as divisive as that, looking at how polarized our nation is right now. That is a danger, it's a big danger. And so, all of the candidates must do well to attend the debates. But even before they attend the debates, my brother, we already know who they are. So the debates is not going to make much of a difference anymore. If the debate will make a difference, it will make a difference in consolidating what we already know about Peter Gregory Obi, who has been a Nigerian, who has been looking at the opportunities in Taraba, the opportunities in Borno, even more than the opportunities in the South, as things he will tap into to make Nigeria a flourishing country. My brother, Nigerians, if you are listening to me, we cannot make this mistake. Peter Obi is the right man that will unify this country, not these clowns that we have right now who only want to come and steal our collective patrimony. We already see with Buhari. Look at the number of diversions we are seeing with our national pipelines, our crude oil, private individuals tapping into and lifting oil. Who are they? They are cronies of Buhari, cronies of this present government. All of that must stop, and this nation must grow, and it should grow under Peter Gregory Obi and Ojisu Dati.
Thank you so much, Komelante. If I leave you, I know you have a lot to say. It is clear that, like it's always said, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. When our politicians are engaged, they say things and we can know their direction and line of action. It's on that note that I want to read what Comrade Osaigede has just said. He said, Comrade Lante, the political reality is pushing Atiku to make desperate move that will definitely lead to his failure at the polls. That's what we need. We need to ask them questions so that they can make very, very big fool of themselves and then expose their how they are. Viewers of the Comrade Show, thanks for joining us. It's been the Comrade and Friends, and we've been looking at issues as it affects Nigeria politics and the road to 2023. And the topic for today is has Wike been right all along? And with what we've talked about in the last 40 minutes, it is clear that he appears to be very right as it relates to PDP. But the big question is Nigeria, and Nigerians are wiser. And February 2023 will be the turning point for our country to achieve that greatness, which is very clear is the only way for us to go. Africa needs a change, and Nigeria must say that they need a change, good leadership. And now we have somebody in the person of Peter Obi. So that brings me now to the Labour Party. The Labour Party in Nigeria has also had their own fair criticism. They've had some development in the last few weeks, and last week as well was very pivotal. You know that the presidential candidate and the deputy remains the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, and a former member of Senate, no, but Yusuf Dati. They are carrying the toga of the Labour Party. Campaigns have since started, and many things have been happening. Only last week, I think the Labour Party announced their presidential campaign council. It was full of loads of names. There have been discussion here and there. We hear that the presidential candidate Peter Obi has also issued a statement saying that list will be tweaked a bit. Of course, many people have argued that because it's a big house and it's the future for Nigeria, everybody in Nigeria want to be part and parcel of it. I think last week as well, the Director General of Peter Obi campaign group, talking of Dr. Donyo Okupe, informed the world that there is 15 million votes already in the bag for the presidential candidate of the Labour Party and his running mate, Yusuf Dati. We shall be looking at that assertion to see if indeed Donyo Okupe is correct. But of course, with the wide wind going on in Nigeria, one can come to the conclusion that Donyo Okupe's assertion as Peter will be having that bag of vote already bagged could or maybe be true. What will you say if you've had 2 or 3 opinion polls coming out saying that Governor Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati are set and they are coasting to victory? I must also say that I also like another thing that the movement released, the 6 spokesmen from the 6 geopolitical zone. We have Dele Farotomi representing the West, and think India Koto from the North Central, and then we have former Nollywood actor, or still a Nollywood actor, also speaking for the Southeast, and somebody from the Southwest. So, Comandante Kwawosaraki, Labour Party and the Labour Party movement, and the Obi Yusuf Dati movement has been making some airwaves and making lots of progress. What do you have to say concerning recent development in the Labour Party, especially talking of the Presidential Campaign Council, and of course the assertion by Dr. Donyo Okupe that the Obi movement, Obi and Yusuf have 15 million votes already in the bag? Speak to that as an obedient yourself.
First, let me start from the good news. The assertion by Donyo Okupe, I think is very apt, because looking at the way Nigerians came out en masse to register, and of course, before campaign was officially flagged off, we indeed saw obedient movements, rallies, all across the nation, and so we can ascertain, that this election that is coming, Nigerians are energized, they are galvanized to come out and vote. Because we are looking at this on the heels, of previous elections where there have been high, voter apathy. For instance, in Lagos, it's recorded that almost all the time, less than 20%, 25% of people, who have registered to vote, less than 20% of them actually come out to determine who becomes governor in Lagos State. Now, we expect that will be different at this time. We expect a lot of people to come out. If Lagos State can shun out, up to 50% of eligible voters in 2023 elections, that would be massive. It could portend big danger for the landlord of Lagos. That's talking of what's his name, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all of that. So all of that can lead to that speculation that if about 15 million votes is already decided for Obi and the Labour Party, and that would be an encouraging sign. Again, that's against a backdrop, of the fact that currently President Muhammadu Buhari is enjoying about 12 million votes to become president of Nigeria. And so we are looking very. I want to agree with Doyen Okupe that by projection, Obi is coasting to victory by projection. As a matter of fact, Bloomberg, what's his name? Bloomberg polls, just a few weeks ago, independent, polling came out to show that about 73% of eligible voters in Nigeria have already made up their minds to vote for Obi, and that's a good thing. So I think what the Labour Party and the Labour movement need to do is to sustain the tempo and, of course, keep pushing, the narrative as it were, because they've not been doing anything wrong so far. But on the flip side, looking at when the list was announced, 1,000 by 1,000 something, I don't know the exact figure, of the campaign council. That's the largest, of any political party and all of that. Of course, the PRO of the Labour Party, national PRO, came out, to, of course, make some statements of disagreement, and that has led to some issues internally. And Peter Obi provided leadership, issued a statement that they will. It does look like some people may have been omitted from that list, and that they will have to look at that list again so that they will consider everybody. But what about this list that I've come to find out, in my research, is that ordinarily this is exactly a departure from the established political parties. PDP have their own National Working Committee members right now, their own campaign council. APC has got theirs. For the established party, it's about money making. People are fighting to become members of PDP, campaign council, and the APC as well. Because for them, historically, it's about apportioning money to people. But for that of Labour Party, it is pure volunteering. Pure volunteering. And honestly, I think that the Labour Party hierarchy should, wash their dirty linens inside their own house. Because right now, I've always argued that there are two fractions that are making up the obedient movement. There are those who are members of the Labour Party. There are the obedient who are not registered members or registered members of the Labour Party, who don't even identify with the Labour Party, but they have committed themselves to say they are voting for Obi. And so therefore, what the obedience structure working with Peter B considered was to look at the power of those who are volunteering and enlisted them in this particular movement to form the campaign council. Not necessarily to look forward to, a point where Ilalobo will be made available. When I mean Ilalobo, where monies will be shared. It is a proper volunteering arrangement. So if that list can even be robust to get up to 10,000 members, it is fine. Because nobody should expect anybody to come and give some, amount of money or that will create another level of corruption or immorality here and there and all of that. So if they can stick to that, as an arrangement, of bringing volunteers together to make a robust, council, a campaign council for the Labour Party, that would be good for Nigerians. And so people started equally bringing, noticing that, there must be some sort of, what's it called?
Balancing.
National balancing, giving the consideration of this and of that. I think that all of that with a campaign council should ordinarily not, be a problem. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Everybody who wants to work in the council, there's a place for everybody. People should be accommodated. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm glad that the leader has provided leadership and that needs to be reviewed. Hopefully, in the coming days, the Labour Party will bring out a more robust list. I will not be surprised if that list gets up to 2,000 plus or 3,000 or even more. Even if it's 100,000, the more the merrier. I am not officially a member of the campaign council. I consider myself a member of the campaign council because everything I do today is for the obedient movement to succeed, for Obi to be elected. So every Nigerian out there who is making the case for Obi to become president, as far as I'm concerned, is either officially or unofficially a member of the campaign council of Peter Gregory Obi, whether the world likes it or not. So there should be no hula baloo about this. Let us live in peace and let us focus on the ball and get the vision realized. That's my take, my brother.
I like the way you anchor it there. I want to also advise Nigerians and indeed our viewers and our listeners. I am a member of that list, even though my name is not listed. If you work for Obi, if you dream for Obi, if you are thinking of a better Nigeria, you believe that Obi is a man, you are already in that list. And like Renate said, except you are looking for some benefit, I'm not looking for any benefit. My benefit is that Nigeria should be better. And if that is your view, if that is our collective view, then we are all in that list. I think it's just people still believing that Nigeria will be the same after February 2023 when Peter Obi will be our president, and they think that it will be a time for blessing. And like you said in Benin language, it will be a time for Ilalobo. Our Ilalobo at the moment is that Nigeria should be great, should be successful, should take his pride in the right place in the world. So please, I think, like you said, the list is not ending, it's going to continue to expand until we deliver Peter Obi as president and Yusuf Dati as vice president. Whatever list we have does not make anything. What if you are that list and God forbid we can't deliver? What are we going to say? We are not celebrating lists, we are celebrating the success of democracy, and we have our anchor in the persons of Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati to become president and vice president. But there's something very instructive here I want to say. I don't know if you want to put your mouth on it, CNC. I think something just came to me as we're talking about this. I've thought about it. It will be the hands of this big party trying to caress some already existing members of our Labour Party to cause trouble. Because these people will go out of nothing to do anything just to cause problem. So all executive members of Labour Party should be forewarned because they can be bought over just to cause unnecessary problems. I'm begging and I'm speaking to executive members of Labour Party at the national level, at the state and the local government level. There will be different tactics and antics that will be put at us. Let us not fall for this. No matter the amount of money you are paid today, nothing will be better than having good governance. And we have a person that is ready to take Nigeria from our present situation to another level. So I want to appeal to top hierarchy of Labour Party members and executive. Please don't allow yourself to be used by people from the other party just to cause problem. And I also want to speak to the national chairman of Labour Party. I think Abure doesn't know what has hit him. Labour Party used to be a very small party, but it's now a party to reckon with. So sometimes they might not have the technical know-how on how to manipulate all this. We should be careful and we should be forewarned. I don't know if you have anything to say, Dr. Komelati Ponsaraki, on that before I ask you my next question.
No, the only thing I want to say is that I know that there's this, what's it called? There's a particular character or some characters, somewhere like General INEC. People have been like, why is he on the list? Why this, why that? I like Nigerians, particularly obedience. This is what I've come to do myself. I trust the judgment of Peter Gregory Obi, honestly. And I like that we all trust the judgment of Peter Obi, who has a very good hand on things so far. Because if we don't trust the judgment of our own commander-in-chief or our own leader, then that's where the problem begins from. You understand the picture from I'm saying? Ordinarily, this shouldn't have been an issue. It shouldn't, even if it's an issue, it should have been an issue that should be resolved internally, not people carrying a matter to the media and all of that. But again, it's all good because we are having an evolution of our democracy. You understand what I'm saying? And Peter Obi and the Labour Party right now, they are exemplifying that revolution. You understand? So by the time they have this wrapped up, eventually they come up with a list that will be, generally acceptable, as it were. Even though there may be some things here and there, there is no list that will holistically, be favored by everybody. At the end of the day, the vision is to deliver Peter Gregory Obi. So I like to advise both the Obedience and the Labour Party, people, to say that everybody wants to be on this list. Okay, they should have room to be on the list. You understand what I'm saying now? Because at the end of the day, more the merrier. It is all to the advantage. For those who clamor that General Nature should be out of that list, if General Nature has something to offer, okay, I think should be there to offer what he has to offer. You understand? If it's nothing to offer, let us trust the judgment of those who are allowed to be on the list. You understand? And let it fly. Because at the end of the day, the what's it called? The primary denominator in all of this is that we are all Nigerians. No matter how our history may have been and all of that, one thing I've come to understand about Nigerians is that Nigerians have the capacity to be very dirty. They have the capacity to be very nice. They have the capacity to adapt to anything. I knew that when I got to Germany for the very first time. I knew that when I got to Germany, and I realized that every Nigerian coming from Nigeria, without our dubiousness, when we come into Germany, in fact, we don't require more than a day to understand that we are no longer in Nigeria, and everybody fall in line. We begin to do things accordingly because law and order has been strengthened. Institutions in Germany and of course the Western world, they've been strengthened. That's how it is with UK. That's how it is in all over Europe. Therefore, I want to believe that the general of Peter Gregory will be to handle this. When Obi becomes elected, believe me, no matter how dirty Nigeria will be, we are hoping that the new Nigeria we are launching ourselves into will strengthen institutions, protect law and order, and of course, Nigerians will abide and they will adapt to the new rules. Nigerians will be better people for it. That'll be my take, my brother.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade. Viewers of the Comrade Show, friends of the Comrade Show, I want to thank all of you who have been making comments on YouTube, Facebook, and on our Twitter handle on the subject matter today. It's still the Comrade and Friends, a segment of the Comrade Show. If you have a thing or two you want to say, please pick up the phone and dial in. We've been talking about APC, PDP, and we are looking at Labour Party. In a short while, we'll be talking about INEC and one or two issues before we wrap up the day. But thank you so much for what you've been doing. We appreciate all your comments. I can see that there's serious buzzing argument, counter argument going on in our YouTube and Facebook. And I want to say thank you so much, Nigerians across the world, for always tuning in and being part of the Comrade and Friends. Obedient Comrade Oreki. Peter Obi is making waves. But some people are asking questions, when are we going to have our tumultuous rally? The October 1st rally that was not organized by the party but was organized by volunteer was a wide win across the entire Nigeria. I think Nigerians are looking seriously for that. So as we wrap up, they've also said that Peter Obi should go back to Nigeria and start crisscrossing across the diaspora. I think he has since returned back to Nigeria. But as we wrap up on this topic today for the Comrade Show, what would be your advice today for the Obi Party movement, for the Labour Party, and for preparations for campaigns? We don't know what this week will look like, but we think that there will be a lot that will be happening. What will be your final word on Labour Party, Obi Dati Yusuf movement, and the obedient generally? Obedient Comrade.
No, honestly, I think that my advice is that all of us, officially, we are not named in that committee. I don't know if they are going to name us, but we are not waiting to be named. Unofficially, we are already members of the, Peter Obi Yusuf Dati, campaign council. And my advice would be that we should focus on the ball. We should not be distracted. Some of these kind of matters are matters of distraction. I don't want to listen to them, too much. Every other thing happening around other political parties, we should lift them and use them to strengthen our argument. Just like, the mess Atiku made of himself, just like the consistent mess that Tinubu is making of himself, and all of that. We should use all of those things to strengthen our argument, but keep focusing on the ball. Keep pushing. You understand what I'm saying? Now, committing ourselves more than ever before to it. Because at the end of the day, may we not fail in this. The next 200 years will not be enough to galvanize Nigerians again. Nigerians have to get this right, because this is rewriting the statement of the Nigerian state. And that's exactly what we have to do, whichever way. And doing that, we must convince the people. We are not going to coerce. They must be convinced reasonably to toe this line of being obedient and voting for Peter Gregory Obi. And I want to appeal. We have already started that in Edo State. We are not waiting for Labour Party. We are not waiting for anybody. I have a team already. The Communist has a team going from village to village in Edo State, sensitizing people from village to village. We want to cover all the villages in Edo State, all the wards in Edo State. So I think that obedience all over the nation should employ the same tactics. We're no longer looking at Benin City is already conquered. Obi is going to get nothing less than 80% of total vote cast in Benin City, comprising of a Oredo local government, Igbo local government, Bobaka local government. All of those places is already conquered by Obi. But we're not going into the hinterland, into the village, into the rural areas to make the case. So I want that same thing to be employed in Gombe, to be employed in Bauchi, to be employed in Sokoto, employed in Inewi, employed everywhere, so that the entire Nigerian space will be saturated with Obiism. That is the only way. Because if anybody thinks that Obi has been elected, we are making joke of ourselves. Because these guys, from what we hear, they are ready to make money flow like river in Nigeria to get themselves elected. But we are not going to respond to that now. Nigerians must be sensitized to that extent that it is not time to listen to somebody who's going to pay 10,000 or 12,000. If they bring money, my advice is collect the money. It's the money they have stolen from us over the years. Collect. On the day of election, do what you have to do. Vote for your conscience. And the right candidate that should make up that conscience is Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati. So Nigerians, let us vote for competence. Let us vote for preparedness. Let us support a candidate who speaks Nigeria and who does not speak Northern or Southern. A candidate whose vision we can identify with, that resonates with us. And that is Peter Gregory Obi and Yusuf Dati. Let's do the right thing. At least for once, let us speak for Nigeria, not for ourselves. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. We should do the right thing come 2023. I want to assure Nigerians that the right thing must be done, will be done, and indeed the right thing will happen. But one body that is charged with that responsibility of making the right thing happen is the umpire, the electionary umpire in Nigeria, talking about INEC. INEC was on the news, I think, last week and the week before, and there was another alleged statement, I think by the PPC or the CUPP, that there is a grand plan for the INEC chairman to be removed. We know that INEC is very important in this process, and a very good INEC will determine to a large extent how credible, how fair that 23 general election will be. It is very pivotal. We've advised on many occasions that everybody that have registered should go and get their PVC. I will continue to put INEC on the spot and on the check to make sure they are ready for this election. Komelate also Araki. We don't want our labor to be in vain. INEC is very important. In fact, they have the 10 commandments. What do you see and what's your advice? And were you surprised at the news that there is an alleged plan for the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud, will be removed at some point? What's your take? Although presidency and APC have come up to say that there is no such plans, but Nigeria, like you said, is a very funny place. They are full of magics.
I think we've heard that a long time ago. Even when this guy came up to read out this issue of attempt by INEC to insert ghost voters into the register and all of that, he did say that there was going to be an attempt to remove the chairman of INEC. Honestly, I don't know why I believe my instinct that there is nothing anybody's going to do right now about the Nigerian political space right now anymore. Because the entire system is already overwhelmed by the consciousness of the obedience and the readiness of the obedience to police this election. Even if they make President Muhammadu Buhari, the national chairman of INEC. This election will not be won by APC or PDP. It's going to be won by Peter Obi and the Labour Party. If there's nothing anybody's going to do about it at the end of the day. So, but if INEC chairman is to be removed, okay, it should not be removed unjustly. Again, this is why I said our democracy is still evolving. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that we get to be elected so that some of these points, okay, or some of these issues, a president should not have the power to remove an INEC chairman. That's why it's called an independent national electoral commission. If an INEC chairman is to be removed when a tenure is not completed, there must be a procedure, a legislative procedure that can lead to that. We cannot have a case where a president will just wake up and say, I no longer like the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He will remove and bring in the one he likes. It's a very dangerous situation. Many states in Nigeria today, including our own Edo State, a government will just wake up and say, man, I'm postponing an election. All of these are part of the loopholes we have in our own system that needs to be changed. We cannot afford to. We have seen it across different states. A government will just come and say, man, local government elections can no longer host so and so day. We now host so and so day, as they will, because these are lines in our laws that needs to be changed, and they can only be changed when you have somebody who is fortunate, somebody who knows the right thing to be done to help push it from the positive angle. I expect Obi to come and help deepen our democracy. All of these fault lines corrected. The president of Nigeria cannot have power over INEC. Nobody should, except the legislative arm of government. Nobody should have power over the Chief Justice of Nigeria, except the legislative arm. And I'm advocating that the state local government council should not be under the state. They should be independent of the state. They should have their own calendar. But a government will just come out at the state level to say, for this and for that and for that, I refuse to hold local government elections, or I refuse to hold House of Assembly elections. It's immorality. It's an aberration. It shouldn't be. And all of these things will continue if we have people like Bola Ahmed Tinubu or people like Atiku Abubakar in government. We must have someone like Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati in government to strengthen these things and take all of these things away from these people who are toying with all of these things and make all this supposed to be independent. As for INEC chairman, he should be there to complete the tenure. For Nigerians, we don't see anything wrong with him yet. And so his removal must not be on the will and caprices of some human beings. They must be truly independent and they must be allowed to do their job. That's my take, my brother.
Thank you so much. Obedient, combative, Pausaraki. They must be truly independent. Independent they must, and they must work independently. I think that INEC will deliver. I am sure, just like your instinct, that 2023 will be a watershed, and I think INEC will play their role. If there are plans, of course, because Nigeria has an history. Remember last year, I think it was the last time before the election, the Chief Justice of the Federation or somebody was removed, talking of Honore. People are scared of that. But the present president has promised on countless occasions that one of the things he wants to bequeath to Nigeria is to have a free and fair and credible elections. So we are not worried. I just want to advise Nigerians and people of Nigeria, especially those that have registered, to go and get their PVC and ready. Their PVC is their key to unlock Nigeria into greatness come February 2023. So we are not worried. Thank God they've come out to deny that. Let them continue to deny that. And then when the election comes, Professor Yakub Mohammed will still be there, led by his team of INEC staff to deliver. And I also want to advise INEC staff, whatever you are doing now is for the betterment of our country. The 20 naira you take today will be finished in a few days' time. What will happen for the future? Think of the future of yourself, your children, your great-grandchildren, and generation yet unborn. If Nigeria truly means, if you truly think that Nigeria is great, then we all must contribute our own small greatness to making it great. And one of those things, if you are INEC staff, is to do your job and do your job very diligently. Friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, it's been the Comrade and Friends, and we've looked at lots of issues. I must at this point thank everybody who has contributed to today's program and for all the issues we've talked about. Looked at PDP, APC, we looked at Labour Party, and we zeroed down on INEC. But just before we call the show a close today, I just have a word I want to say, because in the statement, Comrade Lante Bosarek, you mentioned something. Come November 2022, Edo State, currently led by the Governor Godwin Obaseki, would have been 2 years in office for his second term. Lots of promises were made. There are questions that have been asked. We are taking a very good x-ray, and we will be coming back to ask Edo people that barometer that was set for the Edo State governor and government in 2022 to be astray. Obedient Comrade Lante Bonsaraki, do you have something to say? You want to let the cat out of the bag as per what TCS is planning come November?
No, I think, we were very pivotal to the election of Governor Obaseki, the Comrade Show, and the team of the Comrade Show. And, of course, so many Nigerians are Edo State people across the world. The governor has been governor for 2 years. We have the manifesto.
For the second term.
Yes, for the second term. He's got 2 years to go. So the question really is, has Edo State been governed in line with the promises made? Are Edo people happier than when Obaseki became governor of Edo State? What is the true state of Edo State? These are questions that we need to ask. So we need to have an x-ray into governance of Edo State in the last 2 years. And so there's no better time to do it now than just midway into his second year term. And so people have been reaching us, asking us a series of questions and all of that we can't even answer. And so we thought that we want to create that avenue where all of us will come together and estray Edo State. Apparently, I think the reason for this, why the commercial team has come up with this, which we must do as a matter of fact, is for a few reasons. One, a commitment to governance and development in Edo State is unflinching. Secondly, to pat the government in the back in areas where we believe they have done well. And of course, to remind government that time is going out and promises made, if they are forgetting, they should get back on track and begin to fulfill those promises. Because at the end of the day, it will be most immoral, most unjust, most irresponsible if certain things expected by the Edo State people, they are not met by government, particularly in line with promises made. So all of those things, at least we need to look at. But importantly, areas where the government has done well, we need to identify those areas and put them in the back and encourage them all, to urge on. Of course, so these are the issues, because at the end of the day, when anybody is governing, when there's a government that will not have that moment where the activities of governance is estrayed and looked at, at every point in time, it can lead to some sort of intellectual and political immorality, and that we don't want to have in Edo State. Edo State has been very exemplary. In the election that brought in Governor Obaseki in the second term, Edo State people made it happen. It wasn't Governor Obaseki, it was Edo State people who said, this is what we want. You understand what I'm saying? All the structures created, laid, funded, they were all done by Edo State people. And so Edo State people deserve that same window, that same right to want to say, we are happy with holistically with what government is doing, or we're happy with some things and not really happy with some other things, or we're not happy at all with anything. You understand what I'm saying now? When all that is done, we hope that the government will take a look at these and, of course, go back to the drawing board. Because at the end of the day, all we want is for government to succeed, for the people to be happy, and for the dividends of democracy to properly reach the people of Edo State. That was the pivotal reason why the people came out. That should be the reason for the focus even now, until the end of this term. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much, Comilante. For our viewers, and especially those from Edo State, we want to see how mega Edo State has become, looking at the mega promises that were made. In the next few weeks, the notice will be out, and you will be the judge. Let us estray. As Edo State become truly mega, what is the role of Governor Godwin Obaseki and his government, and where they met Edo State and where Edo State is at the moment? So viewers, friends of the commercial, watch out for that. The notice will be out very soon. On that note, I want to thank all of us who have contributed immensely to making today's program a very grand one. Although with only one caller, but his comment was absolutely useful. I want to thank my brother Anthony Ajibola Omoroyi, who ran all the way from Germany. Thank you so much for your contribution. It was indeed very apt. And for all our many viewers who have been buzzing on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and those that have given us stars, may be well with all of us. We are signing off now. We join you again next Sunday. We want to say, as you enjoy the week, remain obedient and useful. God bless you all.
Comrade Show, Wake, Comrade Lante Oriente. This is the Comrade Show.